Let's talk about forfeiting salvation. One example is Genesis 25, verses 29 through 34, and I'm going to paraphrase. There were two brothers, Jacob, Esau. One brother was out in the field, came back exhausted. Meanwhile, Jacob, cooking in the field, Esau's hungry and says, I'm willing to sell my birthright to you. That's how hungry I am. So Jacob's like, swear. Swear to me that if I give you a piece of bread and lentil stew, that you will give me your birthright. Okay, we're going to draw it there. Birthright. It is your spiritual inheritance. It is your covenant, aka your position. What position? Well, Jesus is the new covenant. How do we know that? Well, Luke 22:20 says, in the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, this cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. Who? You. Okay. In other words, spiritual status was broken in the garden. Okay. Adam and Eve never sinned. Thus, they were never separated from God. Okay. Sin separated us from God, and now we have lost the position that we are the righteousness of God. Well, Jesus came, died, and poured out his blood, just like it said in Luke 22:20, meaning it's the new covenant poured out in his blood, that we would become the righteousness of God because Jesus became our sin. He took the sins of the world, that we would become the righteousness of God. Okay, the stew represents temporary satisfaction. Esau valued temporary satisfaction more than his covenant, more than being reconciled to God and being the righteousness of God, so to speak. How ignorant is this? But if we're honest, we do the same thing. Our modern day and our modern way of doing these things is an example. Porn, drugs, sex outside of God's design for it. Come on, somebody. Porn is counterfeit intimacy. Drugs are a counterfeit contentment. Sex outside of God's design is a counterfeit value system and connection point. Okay? Porn is a byproduct of being alone. Okay? Drug or substance dependence is it's dealing with an inward emptiness. Okay? Sex outside of God's design is dealing with low self-worth and low self-esteem. Don't be like Esau and let your feelings forfeit your inheritance, forfeit your covenant with God, forfeit your promise of a better tomorrow. You've got to remain. Don't get caught up in your feelings.